Hey y'all, Fern from the future here. So, this episode was recorded on November 18th, 2021, before certain manga chapters were released. We debated whether or not to cut certain sections out. In this case, that's minute 30 through minute 55, once it became clear that our information was woefully out of date. But ultimately, we decided that it was funnier to keep the episode the way it was because we were so wrong. We hope you find this as funny as we do and enjoy the episode anyway. Thanks, y'all. Now back to Past Us.
Hey, y'all. This is My Hero Analysis, a podcast about My Hero Academia, aka Boku no Hero Academia. We are three grown adults who mine Japanese children's cartoons for serotonin because God knows our brains aren't making it naturally.
Hey y'all, this is Fern. We're having a bit of a day here, a little bit of manic energy again. We're recording this the day after we recorded episode 13, and nothing's changed.
No, not a thing. This is Nicole. I wrote in to include the Hi, how are you section, and I've immediately forgotten everything I've done today and the past 3 days and the past month. So I'm going to blame the 2-hour nap I accidentally took earlier. That's where we are.
That is how you know it was a good nap.
I hope so. I'm still probably going to fall asleep at like 8:45 because I am a grandmother. So
incredible. That's a superpower.
Then I just wake up at 3:30. I don't think it's a superpower.
Sorry, Maria, we can't hear you.
Can you not?
Well, I can hear
That's
you
better.
now, but what were you trying to say earlier?
No, I said y'all are both very have grandma schedules because I don't go to bed till like midnight.
Insane.
We cannot comprehend each other's existences.
It's fine. Hey y'all, it's Maria. I did not have any manic energy yesterday. I do have manic energy today. So that's where we're at. Life's great. No, it's not, but life's great.
Sounds about right for the millennial experience.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, I did buy flowers. So now my apartment has flowers.
Oh,
nice.
That is nice.
I like flowers.
I have
Flowers make everything better.
They do. I have like several fake flower bouquets because I can't be bothered to go get flowers for myself.
Well, I went to Trader Joe's the other day, and every time I go to Trader Joe's, I always buy flowers because they have the best flowers, and
They really
they're so
do.
cheap.
They have a damn good selection. You know, it really is just like those little bitty details.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So everything looks very lively. I actually cleaned my apartment and like got over. I've been very productive this week, surprisingly.
I am very proud of you.
Adulting. I've been adulting. I don't adult, but I've been adulting.
I'm a little bit jealous. My apartment is not clean.
Yeah, but you're in the process of moving, so
True.
like you're allowed to be a little messy since you're not going to be even occupying that space much longer.
I have not started packing at all, but I've got like almost 4 weeks.
You've got to pack.
It'll take me 3 days. It's fine.
Oh God. The last time I moved, it took me like 6 weeks to pack. I'm very nervous for you.
Oh my goodness. You also have more stuff than I do.
No. For me, I do everything at the last minute because that's just who I am. I packed out the entirety of everything I needed to pack within like 2 or 3 days.
No.
Yeah, I remembered that because we got there to move and you were still packing.
Yeah, I'm a procrastinator. So I have to be stressed to do everything. It's not a good life, but it is what it is.
Oh, honey, please.
I think you broke Nicole.
please get some. I don't even know what to get you for that. I can't imagine packing in 2 days.
No, but in all seriousness, I'm probably going to start seriously packing like the week before, and I don't have very much stuff, so it will get done. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's true. You have a very pleasing, more minimalist than I do with all my little tchotchkes.
I love all your little tchotchkes so much. I would like more tchotchkes. When I eventually decide to settle down somewhere, I will get so many tchotchkes and I will never move again.
Yeah, that's the dream.
But anyway, this is a podcast.
And it's not about moving. It's about a cartoon.
We do this every single time. But yeah, welcome to our season wrap-up episode. And Nicole is going to be our guide today.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I will be vocal fried by the end of it. I'm not going to apologize for it.
Absolutely not.
All right.
You should.
Thank y'all. All right. So we're just going to start with a pretty big disclaimer. So we are going to talk about anything and everything that pops into our head, like within the manga up to chapter 333 and Vigilantes chapter 113, since those were the most recently released chapters at the time of recording this episode. And if anything momentous happens before we upload this episode, we'll try to slide it in. It will depend on our schedules. But yeah, if you are here and do not want anything spoiled, we love you, but you should leave.
Yeah, spoiler city over here.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about everything, everyone, anything that really pops into our head. So we hope that's what you're here for.
And if you're not, then get out.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
We love you so much.
I mean, you can stay if you really want to, but it's a lot.
You will undoubtedly get spoiled. So if you're cool with that, stick around.
Yes. And if you're like me, who can't stand it, please leave. I love you. You are after my own heart, but please leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you're like me, stay, because I don't give a crap.
All right.
And I know it bothers y'all so much.
So much.
I'm in between y'all. It occasionally bothers me.
Yeah. And when I'm watching a show, don't tell me anything. I don't want to know what they're having for breakfast because that will color my viewing experience. Don't tell me anything. Okay. So I was wondering if we wanted to do a season summary, but then I was like, no, y'all know what happened in season 1. So we're just going to scooch right by that.
Yeah, they were there.
Yeah,
watched it happen.
Yeah.
Y'all have been here. If you really need to, you can go watch the end credits on episode 13. That was a nice little montage.
That's true.
All right, so we are going to start with the running subplots that started in season 1 that are going to continue through either some future seasons or the whole series. And we are going to start with, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this kid's name. Is it Tsubasa?
Tsubasa.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be my guess as well.
Okay, so Tsubasa, the winged boy, and the Nomus. So full spoilers, the winged boy who we saw in the very first episode, who's part of the preschool Baku squad, I guess. It is heavily implied, if not outright confirmed, that the winged boy who used to be their childhood friend is now a Nomu who makes an appearance in season 2. It's been a while since we've read the pertinent chapters or watched the pertinent episodes where that is revealed in season 2. So y'all are going to go on the roller coaster ride with us when we get there in the next few episodes. We all mourn Tsubasa, the winged boy. We hope that he might be saved somehow if he's not already dead. Is he dead? I think he's dead.
I have no clue.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then I wrote my own parenthetical.
Sure he is.
Yeah, I think so. I wrote my own parenthetical after that. Is if he's not already dead, parenthetical, which I also don't think is full on confirmed, given the continued resurrection and fridging tropes that Horikoshi does use.
Yeah, and also I genuinely don't remember how Endeavor's part of the Stain arc wrapped up. Like, did any of the Nomus die? Were they all arrested? I truly cannot remember. It was focused on other things. So it'll be interesting to go back and rewatch and actually pay attention this time.
I mean, I forgive you for not paying attention to Endeavor. I'm pretty sure they're dead.
I am going to hold out hope.
I'm pretty sure it is too. I'm trying to think about it, and I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah. It's amazing how much we forget.
I'm just going to sit here in my happy little optimistic bubble until it's confirmed before my eyes. And then I'll be devastated.
Yeah. I think you're going to be extra devastated by the Tsubasa Nomu death if it's what I am remembering. And
great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Nicole, if it's what I'm remembering, then yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Stain was involved. There was stabbing.
Great.
Yeah.
I just don't think we saw any body bags, which I think is what's throwing us off.
That's true.
Yeah, but I don't think anime really does many body bags, though.
Well,
it's just more of implied.
No, they just use trash bags.
Yeah.
Like with the sludge monster.
Oh, God. I don't even think that guy was dead, though. Christ.
No, he's not dead. He's just trash.
He's not dead. Yeah, he's trash. But no, I don't think anime really does body bags very often. They'll sometimes have a funeral, or they'll have they'll cover the face, or they just straight up say they're dead, or they don't say it, but you know it's there. So I'm just gonna assume he's dead. Like I'm 88.97% he's dead. Well, I am still both proud yet sad that I was the very first one to bring this up.
It's your fault.
It destroyed me. I had to make sure it destroyed y'all too. I wasn't going to be the only one on this journey. But when I tell you, I fucking cried my eyes out when I saw it the second time, because I watched it in English dub the second time. I was full on bawling my eyes out because I knew exactly what's going to happen. Because I'm a glutton for punishment. We've gone over this.
But we barely know the kid. Why were you bawling?
You know, you can't choose what tugs the old heartstrings.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess.
Because I knew, he was such a cute little kid. Like, yeah, maybe he was a little bit of a dick, but he was a cute little kid, and he didn't deserve to die, okay?
Okay. I can agree with you there. He was a little jerk, but...
Yeah, but also we're not going to go around killing 10-year-olds for being assholes. That's a little extreme.
We would lose the entire population. It's fine.
Yeah. No, and especially after I saw the TikTok, I was going to keep crying. There's certain things that will just trigger that, and that was one of them. So, yeah.
Okay.
Fun times.
We will continue to hold out a tiny thread of hope that Tsubasa may be saved, but I don't think so. Anyway, from Tsubasa, we're going to move along to Evil Doctor, and I went ahead and looked up his names because we were just calling him Evil Doctor throughout the season. So his name is Dr. Kyudai Garaki, and again, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing. He also has another name. It's very confusing. It's never explained very well that I remember, but he's also called Daruma Ujiko.
Yeah, I don't remember which one's his real name and which one's his alias.
Yeah.
Or they could also both be aliases.
Yeah, for real. We don't know. It's unclear, and we need a chart from Horikoshi.
Yes, please.
So this is the doctor that Izuku's mother, Inko, takes him to, who diagnoses him as quirkless, but is also working with the big bad villain, AFO. We're going to talk about him a little later in the episode, a little more, but he is the creator behind the Nomus, and he also... Again, it is heavily implied, if not outright confirmed in the manga, that he sacrificed his grandson, Tsubasa, to the program, though we don't know exactly when he did this between kindergarten and the Stain arc.
Yeah. So I believe I saw that on the official wiki. Mm-hmm. So I believe we can go ahead and assume it's confirmed because they seem to be pretty picky about what they post there. And then also, good God, somehow I fully missed that that Tsubasa was his freaking grandkid.
Yeah.
What the actual fuck? Somehow that's just, oh God, he just gets worse and worse.
It just makes him worse. And I also completely fucking missed this. I mean, he's always freaked me the fuck out from like the very first episode. And now that I have this fucking piece of information, it's on site.
Yeah.
Again, he's on my list of people. If I ever get transported to the anime world, it is on fucking site.
We will all go with you. We all want a piece of this doctor piece of crap. I'm kind of proud that I realized that before y'all. It's just a nice little piece of pride I have in my heart, especially since y'all are the ones who don't mind spoilers and I'm the one combing through the wiki.
Yeah, that's a little ironic.
Yeah, a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. Hopefully he will get his comeuppance. It would be nice to see Izuku and Bakugo realize who Tsubasa was, and maybe they'll get a few extra punches in on him. We'll see.
Oh.
Also, I wonder if his name Daruma, again, I apologize, is a reference to the Daruma dolls. I don't personally know enough about them, but it's literally the same word, at least in English. So that'll be fun to see if anything develops there. And the only knowledge of those I know is there is a Pokemon based on the Daruma doll.
Yeah, so I did a quick Google search because I'm not familiar with Pokemon. As far as I could tell from a Google search, Dharma is just used in reference to the dolls. So it's not like an everyday word in Japanese. May potentially be borrowed from the Sanskrit word dharma, which is interesting. Because I could totally see this bitch being so fucking self-absorbed that he thinks he's like a paragon of virtue and destined for success or some bullshit like that. So he gives himself that name.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense considering what we know about him up to the war arc.
Yeah. On a side note, those dolls always freaked me out. But to be fair, honestly, all dolls freak me out.
That's fair. That's fair.
Should never come into my bedroom because I definitely have a clown doll who watches over my bedroom.
Oh, that is another thing. So that's two things. That's two of the things that I hate because I also hate clowns. With a burning passion.
She's the best guardian, though.
No. No.
I'm gonna put her outside your window one night.
You don't understand.
Oh my God.
My absolute hatred for dolls and clowns. I have not watched it.
Oh God,
anything
no.
with a
Me
doll
neither.
or a mannequin or anything. I just do not watch it. I cannot. But anyways, we're not talking about our fears. We're talking about anime, specifically My Hero.
Yes, we are. So we're going to move along to the next point, and we are going to talk about how One for All works and basically how its mechanics affect what's happening in episodes 12 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
So One for All is essentially two quirks in one. The first is the ability to transfer the quirk itself from person to person, which was AFO's brother's natural quirk, even though he presented as quirkless. And it is also a power stockpiling quirk that AFO took from someone else and forced onto his brother. And the whole My Hero thing is just a full-on soap opera between these two brothers. AFO is so obsessive. He needs to calm down. But these two combined quirks created One for All, and it's like an inverse of All for One. And All for One's quirk is just a quirk that allows him to take other people's quirks for himself and or give it to other people. We see the combination of the stockpiling and the transference in those space scenes in episodes 12 and 13. Basically, every person who holds the power of One for All is a point in the constellation. Does that make sense?
Stars.
Little stars.
It's such a pretty sequence. I love it.
It is. And I want to believe that the fact that it's a rainbow means something, but nothing is confirmed yet. Damn it. And this does bring us to our next point. We will talk more about the history of One for All as it becomes more relevant. It's not relevant to season one, so we don't want to like overwhelm the listeners, I guess.
We're compartmentalizing.
Yeah, we're trying to be organized about it, but we've already tangented into clowns and Pokemon. So this is where we are. We will talk more about One for All's history and more on the method of transference later as we get more canonical information, starting with when we meet Gran Torino and the arcs before, after, and during the war, which is taking place in the upcoming season 6, for which we still don't have a premiere date. I need to put it in my planner, Horikoshi.
Horikoshi, how is Nicole supposed to live without exact deadlines? Get it together.
You should see my planner. I wrote down everything I have to put in my 2022 planner on like the January 1st and 2nd in my 2021 planner. And there is a big empty space for season 6's premiere date. And I'm very angry that I can't fill it in yet. This is my life. Anyway. But suffice it to say that since One for All is passed along by DNA, there's a lot of fan theories going on about how One for All was originally passed from the original user named Yoichi Shigaraki. Yes, the same Shigaraki that we know and hate. Mm-hmm. And the second One for All user, aka the one who looks like Katsuki and who still doesn't have a known name or original quirk.
It's gay.
Yeah.
It's gay. It's gay. It's gay. It's gay.
It's gay.
Bitches do be gay.
Katsuki and Izuku are reincarnated lovers who get a second chance to set the world right. Send tweet.
Retweet, tweet into infinity. It is a perfect theory. And if it doesn't happen, we're all going to be so angry about it.
But yeah, that's all we'll say.
Yeah. And Maria has no idea what we're talking about because she hasn't gotten there yet.
No, but I'm constantly like,
But you will be screaming about it when you get to this point, and we're going to be so excited when you do.
Yes, we'll just scream along with you, and it'll be great.
Yes, we get to re-scream along with retweeting. Speaking of Shigaraki and All for One, villains old and new of this season. As mentioned in literally the previous episode, episode 13, at the end of season 1, we essentially have 5 known big antagonists. On one side of it, we have Shigaraki, Kurogiri, and their master and like the deputy boss or whatever he wants to call himself, aka AFO, and the evil Dr. Garaki. We're also introduced to Stain in like the final scene. He's got like perched up on the roof, stealing Aizawa's stance. Mm-hmm. Rude. We will get more information on All for One sprinkled throughout the next few seasons, and then more information on the Doctor in seasons 5 and 6. So we're going to instead focus next on Stain, who it's complicated now. It wasn't complicated before. So Stain's original identity was actually kind of more of a vigilante. He was known as Stendhal in the Vigilantes spinoff series. Mm-hmm. And he had a run-in with Koichi Himawari, who is the protagonist of Vigilantes, whom Fern and I love, and Maria will soon love.
He good boy.
And there are a few others who changed his outlook on vigilantism.
Yeah, he's there for like 2 pages and then he just dips. And so far we haven't seen him since, at least not in Vigilantes.
No, I think he went straight from Vigilantes on his literal mass murder spree up to the Stain arc in MHA.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me that he was in some form popping up in Horikoshi's other manga. So,
I mean, it's interesting when you watch it. His nose gets chopped off, so we know why he doesn't have a nose coming up. Spoiler: he doesn't have a nose in season 2. Also, he's currently having a bit of a renaissance moment in the fandom. After the breakout arc, essentially after the war arc, a bunch of criminals escape from jail. Mm-hmm. And he is one of them. and he is seen as he's escaping. There is another villain / criminal who gives off big serial rapist vibes, to say the least.
To say the least.
Yeah, it's bad. And me and Fern, as we were reading it, we were panicking. And then Stain comes out of nowhere and kills that motherfucker. It was awesome.
Yeah, he does. Stain said women's rights.
Yes. And also now he is being shipped with All Might.
Yeah.
And it is incredible. I love it. Basically, Stain's whole thing is that all the heroes are pale reflections of All Might, or they're not true heroes. So that's why he kills everyone. And All Might is the exception. And now they are being shipped. And I kind of do ship it. I'm not gonna lie.
Like in a crack way. It's amazing. Like
I mean, not even in just a crack way. Like I can see it, but I don't know. We're I hope he's included in future arcs.
Oh God, yes. I really hope so. I can't get enough of this fucking weirdo.
I kind of want to see him just unleashed against the other villains, but we will see what we get.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I shouldn't use
so
it.
as I was reading these notes, I was just like, I feel like I'm missing something, but I am always missing something.
Well, read the manga and then you won't be missing something no more.
Yeah, and you should catch the fuck up, aka our newest mini series where Fern and I freak out over the latest chapters that Maria cannot yet enjoy. So we're trying to get you to catch up.
I mean, I'll catch up eventually. I have a lot going on, okay?
Maria's not pressed.
A lot.
No, and I kind of admire your ability to not be pressed about it, but also please catch up.
I mean, if this was my old job where I literally just sat and did nothing, then I would, but like I'm always running around in this new job, and like I have so much going on that I don't catch a break.
Oh, honey.
Oh, babe.
Well, you do have a very important actual job, so
yes,
we understand.
Yeah. And I'm just very social.
Yes, you are. Also, I still don't understand, but you do you. I will be in bed watching the Discord from afar. Okay, so that's kind of it for the subplots that started in season 1. Did I miss anything that y'all wanted to talk about?
No,
not really.
Okay, so then the next thing I put is the subheading is themes and shit.
I mean, yeah.
The only one I wanted to talk about is quirk is not destiny, as much as their society tries to make it so. And this is explored kind of in season 1, but it's going to get explored a lot more in the upcoming seasons.
A lot of important groundwork is laid, I'd say.
Yes, very much. The foundation is solid. Like, even if your quirk is first labeled as violent and or bad, quote unquote, all quirks can be trained for the good of society, just like all personality types are valid, except the people who are mean just to be mean. And all experiences are valid, and everyone is able to contribute in ways that they want to if they are not labeled as other.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
is what I'm trying to say.
Totally. Yeah. And of course, this all mirrors the conversation our society is having currently around mental illness. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. But also at the same time, it's society's responsibility to provide easily accessible resources to make that shit easier to manage. And they're not holding up their end of the bargain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Also, if there was less stigma with quirks, things would be much better. People would not be judged on how their quirks manifest, how powerful they are, or even how people use them. To add to it, they aren't properly taught how to use them. Either they're just praised for having them, or they're made fun of for not having good ones, or not having any at all, or just having something like dumb.
Absolutely.
Yeah. that this society is failing its people. And it is, once again, the Hall of Mirrors is just beating us because it is a sentient Hall of Mirrors and it's very mean.
Yep.
I'm getting bruises.
So many bruises. We will never heal. All right. So I think the next part is the one we're all kind of excited to get to.
Yes.
As in the fan theories, the canonical subplots, and our own headcanons. And I put this in all caps that are pertinent to season 1, because we could talk all night about all our headcanons, but I tried to give us a framework, but no promises, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, spoiler, the UA traitor.
Yep.
We've been talking about it and hinting about it like the whole season. We're not sorry. It is a big subplot and it is going to be very emotional when it is resolved. And it still has not been resolved yet. 333 chapters in.
Yep.
Very angry. No, as I was doing research, I realized we were kind of mistaken because the subplot or the idea that there is a traitor at UA, it's not even mentioned in season 1.
Yeah.
And it's arguably not even mentioned until the end. Wait, the camp arc is season 3.
Yeah.
So it's not mentioned in season 2 either.
I don't think so, but we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
But like all of the like important shit for why people come to the conclusion that there's a
they call him a
traitor is because it all, or a mole or a traitor is because of all the stuff that happens in season 1. Jesus Christ, I can't talk.
No, you talked very well. I'm proud of you. All the stuff that happened in season 1 points to a traitor. And then what happens at the end of the camp arc when they're all found by the League of Villains, even though their location was supposedly a secret, points to the possibility of a mole. So the subplot is started in season 1, but it's not even a thing in the manga until chapter 83. But basically, the UA traitor is the big subplot for season 1. It's what everyone talks about all the time. Essentially, when Shigaraki broke through the UA barrier, he and the League were able to get access to paperwork or documents or anything regarding All Might's schedule. The traitor angle comes in when we consider what Kurogiri says in season 1, as well as what happens in the camp arc, aka someone with knowledge of Class 1A's movement leaked their information to the League of Villains. Honestly, when Shigaraki breaks through the barrier, it's not immediately obvious that there was a traitor because he could have gotten in and out. But with the combination of what happens at the camp arc, that's when it's solidified and the teachers have their little meeting at the conference table.
Yeah.
So I've laid out like the canonical evidence from season 1. And we've kind of mentioned all of these in previous episodes, but we didn't want to get too spoilery with it. So this is like everything's laid out. So in the manga, Kurogiri, aka Purple Cloud Guy, aka Oboro Shirakumo, our son, our boy, he actually says that he received a class schedule for this very lesson following the gate's disintegration or alongside it. So this should lead readers to assume that the gate's disintegration was a distraction, or the press getting in was the distraction so they could get in, or so that the information could get out. But it's not really clear because, again, we still don't know what exactly the UA traitor is doing behind the scenes. Like we haven't gotten flashbacks to their activities, which I assume we're going to get eventually.
We hope.
God, I hope so. If Horikoshi doesn't give it to us, I'm going to find him and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I need information.
You're going to cry all over him.
Yes, I will fall to his feet and tell me, who is it? It's fine. I'm a professional. It's okay. The next part of the evidence from season 1 is that Shiggy has been told that All Might is getting weaker. And while this could also come from AFO's Intel network, it's easy to surmise that someone at UA is passing along like day-to-day updates on him as well. So then we're going to just quickly remind listeners that there is like confusion over whether there is a traitor or a mole or not. In the manga, it's laid out pretty well, and that the simplest explanation is that they caused that meteor rush the other day in order to get in and gather intel. That line is where people get the idea that there may not even be a traitor, among other factors. And we all did discuss ad nauseum how the information that was passed along to the league for the USJ, it had a lot of holes in it. It was not good intel.
Very incomplete.
Yeah, and inconsistent. And that inconsistency has like added weight to a new suspect that I have. We're going to get to it in just a second. We put together our list of suspects, as we promised. But I'm going to first list like the big fandom suspects, at least the ones that I've seen on TikTok. So if y'all have seen any other fandom suspects, just chime in.
Girl, every time I see those videos, I scroll up. They're always talking about someone that I love very, very much. I don't want to hear that slander. I'm not watching that video.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like all the ones coming across your FYP are Denki or Kiri. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Well, it's either Kiri is the traitor or Kiri is going to die. And none of it is fun. And I don't believe any of it.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right. So fandom suspects, basically like the big ones. The first one is Denki Kaminari. And the evidence for him is like considering his quote unquote unequal displays of dunceness and intelligence, especially in the first season where you kind of can't really pin him down as a himbo because he reads books, even though we've already said you can read books and be a himbo. But also there is a certain panel where he makes the same hand gesture as a big villain who we haven't met yet. But also I want to point out that for these early seasons, that big villain isn't actually associated with AFO or the league.
And also once they do become associated, it's very unwillingly.
Yeah. And there'd be no reason for them to go to Denki of all the options they have. But also, this is the theory I kind of like, the Fortnite theory.
Oh no, this is the one that makes sense. I hate it.
So basically, it's a fan theory where Shigaraki is getting information out of Denki because they're friends on Fortnite. And Denki is just so clueless. He tells him everything, and I love it.
Yeah, Denki's just spilling his guts to a person he doesn't know.
Yeah.
And it's Shiggy.
And it's Shiggy, and it's great. And Spinner is there, like, bringing him snacks. It's great. I love it. The fan art is impeccable.
Oh, Spinner's the one in charge.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can see that too.
I can't remember the terminology, but whoever's like the leader of the pack when people do like multiplayer mode.
Okay. I haven't seen that Spinner part, but yeah, definitely. That is Spinner. Anyway, the other fandom suspects, and we've kind of already talked about these next three, are Yuga Aoyama, Toru Hagakure, and Principal Nezu. Also, the biggest one I found just kind of doing some light research is Vlad King. And I read an article for this research, and now he is on my suspect list. Not gonna lie.
Interesting. Wouldn't have gone there myself.
No, but it makes a lot of sense. And I'm sad because I love him and his like nice titty window that he's got going on.
The titty window and the major dad vibes. Yeah.
And he has a dog. Like, how dare? Anyway, so we're going to do our own suspect lists. Mine are Nezu, obviously, Snipe, and 13.
Okay.
Hagakure, and again, Vlad King. So to like go into why each of them are on my list. First off, Nezu is sus, and I hate him, and I would just like to see him punted. So he needs to go. I kind of hope he's the traitor, you know? I don't really think he is the traitor or isn't the one. I just want him to be the one so he can just kind of go. So Snipe and 13, they are both at USJ and are present at other points in the future arcs, and they're sus, mainly because I feel like Snipe, if he was on the League's team, like there's a reason he didn't shoot him in the torso, just in the limbs.
That's a good point. But why my wife?
She is there a lot for like a lot of like the little scenes where they're discussing the traitor. Like she was at the gate when it was broken down. She is at USJ and she didn't die or was not as seriously injured as Aizawa was. And then she's there when Deku comes back to UA after his little angst adventure. She's there.
Okay, but like so are a lot of the other teachers are all there in like all of the other scenes.
Yeah, but all of them have reasons to be because I don't know. She's just there, and there's no real reason why she is there.
Well, I will never forgive you for the slander against my wife.
I'm going to cackle so hard if it does in fact turn out to be 13. I will have to hide from you.
Will quit. I will quit the podcast if it's 13. That's extremely upsetting to me.
I'm just kind of here for the chaos, so it's fine.
Yeah. So after 13, other fans pointed out that because Hagakure is invisible, she could totally like not even be a teenager and no one would know. And there's like, it's hard to do background checks. So she could be really anybody. It's like she could be a 30-year-old spy for AFO and no one would be the wiser.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah. I read that and I was like, ew. Yeah. So we'll see if that's the case. I kind of hope she is just another classmate because I don't want it to be anyone in Class 1A. But we'll see.
I also think she's just too obvious.
Yeah, that's true. She's a good red herring, just like Nezu. And then my newest one, who I literally added to my list as I was doing research for these notes, is Vlad King. And for this, I'm going to quote a Screen Rant article by Dhruv Sharma. And this was written back in February, so the evidence may not be like as up to date. And we are going to link it on the website because we are responsible and we do not plagiarize. So, quote, during the USJ attack, none of the villains knew anything about the quirks of Class 1A. This itself dismisses all Class 1A students as traitors because the traitor would be well-versed with the abilities of their classmates and would have mentioned it to the villains. There are also other incidents where Vlad has shown a strange amount of interest in knowing more about the quirks of Class 1A. Additionally, he also seemed extremely anxious when Aizawa defended Bakugo during a press conference, unquote.
We'll need to pay more attention to that scene.
Yeah, like as we go into like the next season, I'm going to be watching Vlad King to see if I get the same vibes. And then I also added some of my own like connections that I made. Fork, you better not. Fork, hold on.
No worries.
He's trying to get into the window where I have my crystals and water charging, and it's very rude.
Fork is like, fuck your magic.
But also, shiny rock. Rock is shiny.
For real.
Yeah, that's probably it. He just wants the shiny.
He's so dumb. Okay, I am sorry. Back to the actual thing. So, the connections that I made that make sense if Vlad King is the traitor, he would be able to give them the location of the camp, and he's also at like all the traitor meetings later. And if I'm remembering right, he like also fights in the war arc, so he could be like participating, looking like he's on their side, but also kind of making it harder for his comrades, stuff like that. Also, I read in the wiki that he participated in a drag cafe while in UA, so maybe he might know Big Sis Mag. maybe, possibly. It's a very thin thread, but it's one I thought of immediately. And also there's the whole blood thing, like his quirk is similar to Toga's and Stain's. So maybe there's a support group where they've gotten together and talked about it. The more I think about it, the more suspicious this guy gets. The pieces are there. We'll see if they fall into place. So.
All right. Well, that was very thorough. My section is not as thorough. My answer is nobody's a traitor, and the whole thing is just like one instance of incompetence after another, because these adults are not very good at their jobs.
That's very true. That's very true. It could be they just left a bunch of folders around, and then Denki is on Fortnite.
I also think maybe Nezu in an I'm going to play these two sides against each other because I want to see all of humanity fall kind of a way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, my final statement is that if there is a traitor, it's definitely not one of my sweet babies. How dare you? JK, but also stop it.
I agree. It better not be one of the students unless Hagakure is like a 50-year-old spy.
Oh God, that's so gross.
I know, but it's compelling.
Yeah, mine is also not very long. Personally, I think Hagakure is too obvious. So is Nezu. So I just didn't even consider them, honestly.
Valid. They are very good red herrings.
Yeah. So if I think about it, it would probably be someone from another class. Don't come at me. But it would explain how they knew some things about the class, but not everything, including the quirks of the kids. Also, it would be easier for them to figure out schedules of the teachers rather than students, because in Japan, most schools have like the schedule of the teachers up and about.
Oh, interesting.
But then they also didn't know who Aizawa was, and I feel like that'd be important to mention.
Yeah. Maybe they knew Aizawa was a teacher, but not what type of teacher he was.
I
mean, he's a hero, though. Like, they're all heroes. If any hero is going to be present, that's worth mentioning, because that's going to affect their, Yeah,
but they might not have known what he could do.
Exactly. And like, he was an underground hero. So, I mean, if you look at them, not a lot of even the kids within the actual 1A class knew a lot about him before coming into his class.
Yeah.
Unless they're like Deku, who knows everything and likes to and is
well, that's
a fanboy.
The thing, though. Like, as soon as Aizawa started fighting, a lot of the villains knew who he was. They recognized him right away. So clearly information about him is out there. And honestly, there's probably more information among the villains. I don't know. I don't think it makes much sense. I don't think any of it makes sense. And I don't know why it's a plot point, to be honest.
Yeah, no. Usually also like in anime, usually it doesn't tend to be someone from the main cast. Or if it does tend to be someone from the main cast, it's like someone they bring in from like midway through season or something like that. So Shinzo could be it. But I don't think Shinzo would be it.
He better not be.
I was going to say, that also makes me extremely upset.
He is in class 1A.
He is all of class 1A, class 1B, and Shinzo. They're all baby. So
he obviously replaces Mineta in class 1A.
Obviously. But I don't think it's any of class 1A. I definitely do not think it's anyone from 1A. No. But I do think it's someone from the other classes.
Interesting.
And I'm just gonna leave it at that, because like there's a lot of things, even with Vlad King, like maybe I could see that, but like at the same time, he would probably also know at least something about the quirks of the kids, because he was there when they were doing their entrance exam.
Yeah, that's true.
Mic dropped.
Yeah. As soon as you said you thought it might be one of the other students, I was like, oh, what if it's Nejire? And then I'm like,
absolutely not.
Like she's just airheaded enough for it to be a total act. And she's really just like this eel spy. So the other big, there there are a few other big theories that start in season 1, and we're going to start with Izuku's father and Izuku's original quirk. As discussed in like the early episodes of this podcast, Izuku's father isn't known and he's like never even mentioned. And a popular theory is that AFO is his father, or someone in the cabal of AFO is his father. This would make a lot of sense considering Horikoshi's obsession with Star Wars. And it would also make sense if AFO finagled getting Dr. Garaki to be the one to quote unquote examine Izuku to confirm quirklessness. Mm-hmm. And there are like a lot of theories within the Izuku father, Izuku original quirk web of fan theories. And like to name just a few, one theory is that AFO is Izuku's father, and as a member of a previous generation where passing down your quirk or any quirk is not as likely, Izuku could naturally be quirkless.
Yeah, as of this moment, this is my top theory, I think.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's very neat. Another theory is that AFO is his father, and he did pass down a quirk, but then he took the quirk, either like just himself taking the quirk or Garaki took the quirk. Does Inko know about any of this? I certainly hope not.
Yeah, no, Inko would kick some motherfucking ass if she did. So
no, that's her baby. I can't see her standing for that.
I agree. I just had to mention it.
Unless they're in hiding and she hasn't told Izuku.
Ooh, kind of like that.
I mean, that could be it. But yeah,
she's just like, yeah, no, your dad's overseas. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. And another note that I personally did not put on here, but it was highlighted in my color.
I found it.
I've mentioned it before.
You did. Yeah.
One of it, he could potentially be one of All For One's inner circle. So there is that theory.
Yep. It does make sense. Another theory is that AFO has no relation to Izuku, and we just like our protagonist to have daddy issues.
This is my second favorite theory. We know ourselves.
Yeah.
Look, we have to project our daddy issues onto something.
Or everything.
Yeah, everything and everyone.
Yeah, and then kind of last minute, as I was falling asleep the other night, I came up with another kind of random ass bullshit theory that I have absolutely no evidence for. But AFO could have potentially taken Izuku's dad's quirk, because Fire Breath is a dope as hell quirk, and if I were AFO, I would want it, and then killed him. And maybe Inko assumed he ran off. Maybe he was already planning to go to America and their marriage was already on the rocks. So when he disappeared, she was just like, well, I guess that's it then. And then I kind of imagined this little scene where during the final AFO Izuku showdown that we're assuming is going to happen, AFO is like throwing quirks at Izuku. And then at some point he goes, this next one was your dad's, and then just breathes a giant fireball at him. Like, and cinematically, I would hate to see it, but it would be interesting to see.
I would love to see it, because that is just perfection on like the poetic scale of, well, we're just going to call them daddy issues. It would be perfect. Yep. Chef's kiss. It would be wonderful. Now I need that to happen. Call Horikoshi. Also, Izuku's quirklessness seems as unlikely as it is likely, especially when you consider how quirks sometimes can't manifest without a very specific trigger or knowledge of the quirk itself. Kind of like how we like to sort of seriously joke that Izuku's quirk is safe space and or inspiration.
Yep.
But current manga information does point to Izuku really having no natural quirk. Either because he was born without one or because it was taken. And this information is basically him probably being One For All's final user. And the only reason he can use One For All after All Might's improvement of it is that basically his body wouldn't be able to hold One For All if he'd already had a natural quirk.
Yeah.
But again, this doesn't mean that it was not taken from him when he was younger, and he gets revenge for that eventually. So the next theory that was brought up was the red shoes theory, and this does sort of tie back to the Izuku's father, Izuku's quirk thing we got going on. And I forgot, I just typed this in one big paragraph. So let's see. Again, we're going to post sources on the website. But from what I read, and Maria, please add to this if you know more, the red shoe theory basically ties both Izuku and Shiggy to the dad for one theory, or dad for all theory. I don't know. And it's just a visual tool pointing to them being somehow related, being a very obvious nod to the parallels Horikoshi likes to employ. But there's also another angle. Fans have pointed out that if quirkless people really have morphological differences in their pinky toe, they may require extra support in their shoes, aka there being a need for a shoe company making these very specific shoes, but in limited stylistic options as the population of quirkless goes down. So Izuku wears these red shoes because they give him the foot support he needs, but that doesn't really make sense for Shigaraki to wear them unless it also means that Tenko Shimura, which is Tomura Shigaraki's first name, was also quirkless, and his destructive quirk manifested so suddenly because, dun, 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 it was forced upon him by a certain megalomaniac who wanted to emotionally destroy All Might by destroying his master's grandchild with a destructive quirk he could not control because he was a literal toddler. It makes a lot of sense when you lay it all out like that. And I do want to apologize to Fern. You hate the toe thing, but now it does make sense.
Well, I would argue that Tenko's quirk doesn't manifest so suddenly because it's actually been building up for several months at least, because his own skin is the first thing that he starts dissolving. It's just mistaken for allergies because they get the worst when his dad throws him outside. So they think him being outside is the trigger. Him being outside is not the trigger. It's the abuse that his father is putting him under. That's the trigger. Sorry.
Yep.
A bazillion spoilers. And he was also like the appropriate age for his quirk to manifest because it seemed to manifest between 3 to 5, I think.
Yeah, looked like it.
And then from what we've seen so far, bestowed or stolen quirks manifest pretty much instantly without any kind of buildup, except Izuku. But I think that's because his delivery method was different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think the shoe thing is more just Horikoshi wanting it to be really extra clear that, they're narrative foils / destined to face off at the end of the series. Although personally, my opinion is that it's their combined effort in the end that's going to be the key to taking down AFO. Because again, spoiler, later on, Shiggy becomes a lot more resistant to being AFO's puppet. So I think it's more of a metaphorical thing. I don't think it's anything literal.
Okay. Yeah. I can definitely see that too.
Well, I guess it's my turn. So the red shoes do become a focal point for both Shiggy and Izuku. One thing Horikoshi could be alluding to is that filling the shoes of their respective mentors.
Ooh.
Because they both have very strong, very prominent mentors, and they have to live up to them. And as such, they're huge shoes to fill. Also, like Fern said, they are foils of each other. So many manga artists will have something that binds the main character and the antagonist together. I don't know if y'all know a lot about the red strings of faith.
Oh, yeah.
It is very prominent in Japanese culture, where it's usually like a pinky, a string will tie you from one pinky to another for your soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
But it can also be used when there's someone who is very, who's a big part of your life. So essentially, the red shoes have become the red strings of faith for both Izuku and Shiggy.
I love that visual. That is beautiful.
That's really good.
Also, kind of stepping back from the very good points you two made, someone else online somewhere in our sources pointed out that it would be a callback to the I like your shoelaces trend from Tumblr, but recycled to be for quirkless people rather than queer people. But how would Horikoshi know about the shoelaces if he wasn't also queer? That is a whole other thing. I don't want to speculate on a real person's sexual identity, but I don't want to say it.
We can joke about it in private and then just not do it publicly.
Yeah. But
like, we know we're not serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I completely forgot about that whole I like your shoelaces thing. Will I ever be free from the damage that early 2010s Tumblr did to my psyche? I don't think so. I'm afraid this is permanent.
Yeah. Yeah. Permanent trauma.
No, it's there. It's forever there. And it seems really far-fetched to me too. Like, but Tumblr was a lot.
Tumblr. Right. Yeah, before we fall down a Tumblr hole, we're going to talk about All for One, All Might's last big fight, which was 5 years ago, and how it kind of ties into the Vigilantes series. So AFO's role in Vigilantes, it has like recently come out that yes, he is in fact pulling the strings behind the villain in Vigilantes. We actually see him with his same gross, like non-melty face thing as we do see in My Hero. And this look is acquired after his big fight with All Might. And this is the same one where All Might got his injury. And this is literally in the manga as of chapter 113, which was out on November 11th. And this tells us that the big fight took place at least before the second half of Vigilantes, maybe like right before Koichi starts like really leveling up.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially the Nomu program started in Vigilantes with the trigger drug. I think it's got a slightly different name, but I can't remember it. It's essentially trigger. And with number 6, who is the villain. The timing does line up here, but it hasn't been shown in either manga just yet, like connecting to each other. And I need it to connect to each other, damn it.
Yeah, they keep showing us this other fight instead. I don't want to see that fight. I wanted to see the AFO versus All Might fight, and I still haven't gotten it. But the current fight has been going on for like 30 chapters.
It's so long.
Oh my God, I want it to end.
Yeah.
At least we got confirmation that Pop is okay.
Yes, that was good. Plus,
only 30 chapters. Only 30. That's super low.
Oh no.
Dragon Ball Z.
Oh no. Oh dear. Remind me never to read Dragon Ball.
Not. It's even worse because we're getting it once a week.
Well, it's once every 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks.
Oh
and
God. Yeah, you're right. The time between is longer.
I think that's why it feels like it's taken so long, but still.
It's been like 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Just beat each other. Anyway.
That's too fast. They can't.
Yes, they can. It's very easy.
Oh God.
That's not shonen.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not gonna yell at Horikoshi about that for now.
Yeah, Horikoshi doesn't even write that one, so
no.
It's not his fault.
Blame him.
Yeah, it's probably one of his assistants. Because a lot of manga artists, there's like the main manga artist that will do like the main original work, and then they have assistants who will write out like the basic story, and then the assistants will make it come to life. Yeah, that's probably how it's going. We haven't even looked into it because we're just trying to get through.
Well, we know he has like 80,000 assistants, so and they're very active on Twitter. And
I mean, as he deserves. It's a very good story. All right. So my next part is the sad part. Kurogiri's fate and the rooftop squad.
Oof.
We have been hinting at Kurogiri and his actual identity since like day one. So I feel like we have to lay it out for y'all. We're not going to get to the consequences of his identity revealed just yet, because that'll be like fully covered in season 5. But we're going to chat about everything leading up to it because it's sad. So in the Vigilantes series, we do actually get a lot more of Aizawa's, Present Mike's, and Midnight's backstory and how they all become friends and colleagues while students at UA. And there was another member of their squad called the Rooftop Squad because they hung out on the roof like nerds. And his name is Oboro Shirakumo, aka Loud Cloud. And he could manipulate clouds, and it's very cute and very useful. He was a big old himbo, and we love him. But he unfortunately died in a villain attack while they were doing work study. It was very sad. It was very traumatizing to Aizawa and Present Mike and Midnight, honestly, to all of them. But particularly, we see it a lot more in Aizawa because just that part of the story is through his perspective. And he has essentially carried the guilt for Oboro's death, as well as a desire to see his optimism and inspiration carried on in younger generations. And we see that with his focus on his problem child, Izuku, who also inspires Class 1A, just like Oboro used to do. But Oboro, rather than being cremated, was taken from the morgue and changed into Kurogiri. So Kurogiri is technically a Nomu, but just with a more coherent mind. And he was basically like planted into the League of Villains as Shigi's caretaker. I forgot to write it down, but really quick, somebody pointed out that it is kind of sweet that Oboro got to be the hero for Shigi, at least in that role. So
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we have to take the good where we can get it. Anyway.
Yeah, we're really scraping the bottom of the trash can.
Oh, well, that is just how much we love Cloud Boy.
Oh, he's so good.
And then in season 5, Tsukauchi reveals that Oboro's DNA was found within Kurogiri. And there's going to be a whole episode rundown of that. So that's where we'll stop. But yeah, Kurogiri is Oboro. He's a Nomu. We love him so much. And we hate that his mind was taken from him. And we hope that he can be rehabilitated or resurrected or something. Go read Vigilantes.
Yeah, it's not as good as My Hero, obviously, but there's still a lot of really good stuff in it. And it's definitely worth a read, despite my current frustration with the very long drawn out battle that we're currently in.
Yeah.
It's still good.
Yeah, I think we'll realize we like it better once we're done with this goddamn fight.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it reads much more quickly when you have all the chapters.
Oh yeah, it's a lot quicker. Also, anime and manga, it really knows how to crush your hopes and dreams, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Cloud Boy. All right. To step kind of back from the emotional torture, our next section is basically kind of just a list of actual canonical flash forwards and parallels that you can kind of look forward to in the upcoming seasons. So Izuku working hard to control AFO. Yes.
One for all.
Also, one for all. Is a very good parallel for Shinso's eventual journey of joining the hero track, which will happen in season 5. The trash pile victory, like fist holding up in the air, is also very, very reminiscent of his victory against Muscular in season 3.
Mm-hmm. And then just to quick recap, I already had my whole spiel on this, but the parallels between Katsuki and Ida that we see when they're partnered up for the rescue exercise. Basically, I just think Ida is a lot like Katsuki. He's a walking pressure cooker. We've already seen that in a lot of ways this season. And that pressure is going to explode. And the consequences are going to rear their ugly heads next season in a big ass way. So, woo!
Yeah. I'm actually really excited for it. So,
me too. I can't wait.
It's a really good arc.
Yeah, it really is. So keeping with Ida, he does become the class rep, even though Momo should have. And a year later, he does become the one student that Aizawa knows he can rely on to help with Izuku and his angst adventure, as we're going to call it from now on. And then Aizawa fighting for Class 1A in season 1 is just equal to Aizawa fighting for Class 1A again and all of Japan in the war arc, aka season 6. I'm so excited.
Oh, God.
Also, a sadder parallel is Aizawa's bloody, broken goggles are directly reminiscent of Shirakumo Obaro's fate.
Yeah, cue the uncontrollable sobbing.
Yeah, it was bad. The goggles. And lastly, Izuku running at Kurogiri to be saved by Katsuki. I think this was like in episode 11 or 12, something. I don't know. They all blend together. Not only is he running to help All Might, just like he ran to save Kacchan from the sludge monster, but when he gets close, Kurogiri warps up to stop him, and he nearly goes through the portal, only to be saved by Katsuki. We'll see this reversed and go literally the opposite way, aka it does not work in season 3 at the end of the camp arc when Katsuki is kidnapped.
Cue more sobbing.
Cue more sobbing. We told you there were spoilers, and I'm not ready for that arc. Can we just stay in the Stain arc forever?
It's a really good arc.
It
Probably like the happiest arc.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
I know, it involves attempted murder, and it's like the least,
it's the
lowest stakes. It involves attempted murder, and it's the lowest stakes.
Yeah. If that doesn't tell you about the show, I don't know what does.
Because even the sports festival arc has like a fuckload of trauma dumping.
Yeah, it's so emotional.
Brace yourselves for season 2, y'all.
Yeah, it's a lot. All right. And then the last parallel we have is that All Might's defeat of the Nomu at USJ is basically the same as how Izuku beats Flecked Turn in the World Heroes Mission movie, as we already discussed in our bonus episode. It is a literal repeat of the fight, but it's so good.
Oh, it's so good. Go watch the movie. Go listen to the episode.
It's awesome. All right. Honorable mentions, basically kind of like the smaller, not as pertinent to the plot, canon theories, whatever, however you want to call it. They fall under a lot of labels. It's fine. First off, OFA's first pass from AFO's brother to the second holder, cough, cough, the one that looks exactly like Katsuki. It's gay.
It's gay.
Y'all just wait for the, what do you want to call it? The astral projecting meeting arc.
Oh my God.
It's gay.
It's so gay.
And next, continuing the gay, Himiko Toga's middle school outfit matches Uraraka's.
If not gay, why matchy matchy? Riddle me that, liberals. Explain that one to me.
All these bitches gay.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
And then
they're on different levels of gay, but they're all gay.
Yeah. It's a spectrum.
Mm-hmm. All flavors, all colors.
It's perfect. And Aizawa's expulsion habit is explained in season 1. He threatens expulsion to the class if they can't do good in their PE class, which is silly. But he does have a habit of expelling his students to kind of drive home the fact that what they're doing is very important, and it works really well. He's weird, but he's a good teacher. I love him. And next, probably the most explosive thing to come out while we were covering season 1, the Binetta reveal in the manga.
I refuse.
I am so glad we got to live through that, while we were consuming the content.
Right.
We missed a lot. A lot, but we were there for that. And I'm so happy.
Yeah, I personally regret so much missing the Toya reveal. the same week as the American election. Like, I wish I could have been there. But Netta is like right up there with Toya.
Oh, yeah.
The memes, the reactions, it was immaculate. He is bi and we hate him. See our rant in episode 5 and read the chapters that are the end of Izuku's angst adventure. It is undeniable. We're going to talk about it eventually, but it was so good.
It was great.
I can't wait to talk about it. And then a reminder of Present Mike's grammar lesson hints and how they seem to point to Shigaraki's origin story, and maybe also the AFO OFA history and or the Deco meeting All Might. There's just a lot of connections to be made in the sentences that Present Mike uses for that grammar lesson. Once you consume all the media, go back and read the sentences. They match so many things, so many hints.
I'm still so thankful you caught that. That still blows my mind.
Yeah, I love it. All right. And now, finally, our personal headcanons. The first one I wanted to talk about is that I believe Oboro will be resurrected, perhaps with Aries quirk, and he fucking better, because I need that to happen. And also the final pieces of One for All's history will involve Bakugo and maybe Shinso. He is basically the trigger for how the specters of the previous holders kind of come out to Izuku. And then and then farther down the line, they get into it about how a person's like essence or soul is stored in the quirk somehow. And like we'll actually see that in like even the most recent chapter. Go listen to Fern and I's episode we just put out a few days ago.
It came up
as of the recording
with something not One for All related actually, so that was interesting.
Yeah, it was very good. But basically I kind of put the pieces together that Shinso's brainwashing quirk kind of accesses that deeper level of consciousness that the quirks operate on, like kind of how they may be on the same frequency, if you want to call that Shinso taps into. And that's why Deku always gets more information about One for All when he is brainwashed by Shinso. So I'm wondering if they're just going to see what he can do to help Izuku access those memories that are stored within One for All.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you for the reminder.
You're welcome.
So another note that was left for me was something that I brought up, I don't even know when, about Izuku's
first
father
episode
reveal.
that we recorded.
Yeah, so Izuku's father reveal. I said something about how it may make or break the show. So all I know is that if Izuku's father is literally some random bloke living away from his family, I will scream in frustration.
It would be a little disappointing.
However, yeah. However, considering how a lot of shonen animes with the father mysteries have been, it is essentially one of those things that can make a show better. But there have been a few cases that it has made it worse. One of the best father reveals I've read up to date or seen up to date has been Demon Slayer. Also, actually, Naruto's was pretty good. And the worst, the one that I hate the most, is Hunter x Hunter. Fuck that guy. Like, legitimately, fuck that guy. I hate him.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I literally just had this thought that all the drama surrounding Izuku's father, it's all literal fanon. Like there's nothing in canon that even hints that there is a father mystery. So
I mean, a lot of shonen does. I have read a lot of shonen that doesn't even mention the dad. Like there's like a missing dad, but they don't really mention anything about it for a very long time, actually. I think Naruto was one of them. And then all of a sudden they're just like, oh yeah, by the way, this is his dad. And then you're like, fuck.
Okay.
So
I can see that happening because Horikoshi has said he really takes a lot of inspiration from Naruto specifically. So we'll see.
Interesting. We shall see.
So even though it is a lot of fan and theories, there is a lot of history to back it up.
Okay.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah. For whatever the reveal is, I'm excited.
Yeah. My personal headcanons, fully agree about Oboro. I'm going to keep believing that. Also fully agree about Katsuki. And then I've mentioned this in the mini series that Nicole and I started, but I still think the show is going to end with One for All and All for One, the powers, not necessarily the people, being destroyed for good. But I still think we're going to get a solidly happy ending where like society undergoes a lot of changes and then genuinely becomes better. So
yeah, that is the hope. And I can see that happening because
it's a good show.
And it seems to be what Horikoshi is leading up to.
Yeah, he's really big on hope, like real hope. So, which is also another Star Wars thing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But he does it better.
Yep.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I do agree with the All for One and One for All are gonna disappear though.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I can't see Izuku ending like the show and still having One for All.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might still have a quirk though. Maybe he'll get his quirk back. I'm hoping he gets a quirk back.
That'd be nice. And then it ends as it begins with him learning how to use it. That's nice.
Exactly.
Oh, that'd be interesting. See, I didn't want him to have a quirk because I like the idea of him being quirkless but still being able to fulfill all his dreams. But I also like that. That's really nice.
Yeah, the circular storytelling. Yeah. All right. Well, that is all. That's all that is in season 1. It's a lot. And listeners, if y'all are confused by anything or we didn't cover anything y'all wanted to talk about, just let us know. I am chronically on Twitter, so just reach out. Also, you can reach out through the website.
Yeah, we technically have an email account.
Yeah, we do. And I check it. It's empty a lot. It's fine. All right, a light bit to end the episode on because I feel like that was a lot. So we are going to actually do the husband rankings that I mentioned a few episodes ago. And we're also going to list or give our favorite and least favorite parts of season 1. So I'm going to start my husband rankings. First is Aizawa and second is Hawks. I will take no questions for these. And I can't believe that I am the only one in this co-host group that simps for Hawks. I don't understand it. He is wonderful.
I love him very much, but my brain, for whatever reason, decided that he's baby instead of husband. So
I just looked at Hawks and I was like, that's just a bro. Like, I want to hang
That's
out
fair.
with him. I want to get friends with him. Like, I want to do all the things with him, but like none of the husband thing. Like, I'm not attracted to him at all.
I don't understand. He's perfection.
We do love him very much.
We love him. No, he's great. I love him so much, but he's not husband material.
How dare. We are just going to move on because I do not have the energy to convince y'all otherwise, but maybe one day.
Would you even want to? This means you don't have to share him.
Exactly.
Listen, okay, that's fair. Anyway. And like the rest of my husbands, they like kind of go down in rank from here, but also they kind of like switch places with each other. But like Aizawa and Hawks are firm 1 and 2. So the rest of my husbands are Toshi, Fat Gum, Present Mike, Lady Nagant from Izuku's Angst Adventure. We haven't gotten to her yet, but she is pretty lady. Oh, I love her. Also, I love Barros, second pretty lady. She is not dead. She is alive. We're going to save her. Gang Orca, of course. He's hot. He's husband material. Don't deny it. And finally, I'm not ashamed to admit that I do simp for Dobby. It's fine.
He's very popular.
I know. And I wish I didn't. I wish I had the level of disgust for him that I have for Shiggy, but I don't know. Something about the eyes and the hair and the trauma. I don't know. He's lovely. Anyway, My favorite moment from season 1 was Aizawa kicking absolute ass at the start of the USJ fight. It is sexy. It is perfect. He is so good at all his jobs. I love him.
That's a really good one.
I know, it's hot. My least favorite moment is just Hitchcockadoodle's very existence. I'm so mad about him and his name. You can't convince me otherwise.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so my husband rankings. This is a long list. So first and foremost is Fat Gum. He's like absolute top. I am obsessed with him. I'm obsessed with everything about him. I adore him. All the rest of them are ranked like more or less equally, and they like rise and fall like in my favorites list, like just as they appear in my mind. So like whichever one's being featured in the manga is the one that I'm focusing on at that time. But let's see if I can say this all in one breath. So Nana, Present Mike, 13, Inko, Lady Nagant, Toshi, Toshi's All Might form, Ryuko, the Fox Lady. Yes, this did cue a furry crisis. No, I don't want to talk about it. Inko's Katsudon, Barros, Gam Orca. Somehow that did not trigger a furry crisis, and I can't explain the difference. Okay, I did have to take a breath. And then Aizawa, Midnight, Compress, Mirko, Kamui Woods, Cassie Bate, Tensei, Tsukauchi after he quits his job. And then rounding out the list is Vlad King and Kurogiri.
I was a little surprised by Kurogiri's inclusion.
He wasn't on the list, but then I was thinking about it and I was like, he's really patient. He's great with problem children. He dresses very well. He's got a lovely deep voice. I don't know. Yeah. He's kind of doing it for me.
Yeah. He's very fashionable.
Was it my mention of him in a feather duster and an apron?
Oh yeah, that definitely helped. But yeah, I fall in love with most of the adults and pretty much all of the women. So
yeah, you do.
And yeah, there are way more dudes on that list than I was expecting, which is really strange. That's not usually what happens, but it's fine. My favorite point is literally anytime Kirishima is on screen. I love that little boy. He is so good. That's my child right there. They're all my children, but that's my child. Least favorite point, literally anytime Shiggy speaks or Izuku injures something. We all know about my vendetta against the sound department. Or I should say their vendetta against me. They are punishing for me for a crime.
It's personal.
And I still don't know what crime I committed, but I am in purgatory.
I still can't get over the Izuku flapping tube guy.
Oh God. That's exactly what it sounds like.
It does. Okay. For my rankings, Aizawa and Fat Gum are tied. I will take no questions. There are two very different sides of my likes and dislikes, but it's fine. Toshi, obviously, all forms, no matter, even his weird half form. Toshi's hot.
Yeah.
Midnight, step on me, mommy.
Oh, yeah.
Gang Orca, weirdly did not trigger my animal human-like crisis. Usually a lot of things do. Mirko and the dragon lady, because she's so hot.
And her fucking back muscles, god damn.
She's so hot. I literally cannot. My favorite moment is Izuku's many faces.
That's a good one.
And so my least favorite moment is anything Shiggy. Absolutely anything Shiggy.
Yep.
And I didn't add this on here, but I was thinking about it. Anything Mineta. Trash Netta.
Yep.
Great bitch. Thanks.
How have we spent this episode not talking about how much we hate Mineta?
I think we're just sick of him.
We all blocked them out.
That's true. That's true. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Well, that is all I have. Is there anything else y'all wanted to talk about?
I'm very excited for season 2. This is a really good one.
Yes, I'm so excited. Like every
Yeah.
season gets better. It's weird.
Yeah.
I love it.
It
They're
really
all
does.
amazing.
I really enjoy it. And we get a break this time. Like after this week, we get a break. Say
Yeah.
what?
Oh yeah, we're not doing any recording.
Yay for holidays.
Yeah, because it's Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Oh my god, this episode doesn't come out till January.
We are so ahead of the game, y'all.
We're very ahead of the game. That's because we're taking off like 3 weeks for the holidays.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, life happens. We can't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I can go ahead and do the closing if there's nothing else.
Sounds good.
All right. Let's see if I can do it from memory because I did not copy and paste it into the document because I am a little dumb. It's fine. All right.
I believe you.
Thank you. This has been My Hero Analysis. You'll hear us next week. And in the meantime, go beyond plus ultra and thirst responsibly. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.